He has returned, chat. Internet historian, he is back after a couple of months, even though he said that this video was going to be uploaded like a week after the last. It took him long, but we're not surprised by that. That's kind of what he does. Before we start, Twitch, do you have anything you want to say to YouTube? Get it out. Just get it out. And YouTube, let me know what you want to tell the Twitch chat down below. But let's get into it.
Brought to you by NordVPN.
He has returned.
Oh. It's you.
Hi.
You've completed the crash course on theater and wine, have you? Feeling smug, are we?
Always.
Deserving of love, perhaps? Worthy of eye contact? That's cute. But there's still a lot more work to be done. Look here. These shoes are made from real Italian leather.
Oh.
This bag is made from the leather of real Italian.
They deserved it.
Not impressed? How about this fur coat? It's made from the wolf of Wall Street.
What?
An Xbox with the original PT demo still installed. A signed first edition copy of Moby Dick with its little known sequel, Moby Balls.
Alright.
And last but not least,
It's a cuttlefish.
the squid from Squid Game.
Is a cuttlefish a squid?
Don't you get it? Oddities. Weird stuff.
Like me.
The first section's on perfume. Listen, I'm going to level with you. I kind of got distracted, and we went off topic. I don't even know what this is about anymore. Here's my Netflix stand-up special. It should explain everything.
Ba-dum.
That's going to be a hard act to follow. That Kramer guy has some very good one-liners. But I've got some jokes lined up. Question. Why is perfume so expensive?
Oh, I know this. I know this because some of it and some of cosmetics, maybe perfume, maybe not. It uses ambergris. Like maybe it's in perfume. I don't know. But ambergris, which is whale barf. Is that it? That's my final answer, Bob.
Because you have to pay perfume.
Whoa.
Why do they call it cologne? Have you ever smelt one of those? It ain't great. Oh, mic must not be working. Deodorant? In this market, I'd want a deodor buy. Is this thing on?
I didn't get that one.
Let me tell you the story of perfume. See, to be fancy, people wanted to stink good, but people naturally stink bad. It's science. So in the beginning, people went to the garden to find the best-smelling things that they could. Here's a photo of the oldest perfume bottles ever found.
Ooh.
And what's inside? Just garden stuff that smells nice. But we did not just stop at that, because the story of perfume is the story of progress. By the time Cleopatra came around, perfumes...
Okay, didn't Cleopatra kind of look ugly? Like, aren't there images of her on, like, money where she doesn't look as attractive as that? Didn't she have, like, a weird nose and a weird chin? Hashtag not my Cleopatra. I'm pretty sure she was not that attractive. Although standards did change, so maybe she was attractive for the time. But by today, she ain't that hot.
Science had really advanced. You see, Cleopatra loved perfume. In fact, it was said that she had a whole perfume factory.
Huh?
Olfactory, I believe they called it. This factory wasn't just mashing flowers. They were using emulsifiers, adding resins, creating tinctures. Cleopatra's very own Chanel No. 1 contained cardamom, cinnamon, olive oil, and myrrh. So we've gone from garden to pantry. And she loved spritzing the stuff everywhere, supposedly even spraying it all over the sails of her ship. That way people could smell her from miles off as she sailed the Nile. By the early Middle Ages, we had figured out the formula for perfume. Effectively, there are three main components: water, alcohol, and the most important bit, the aromatic oils. And by the way, perfume and cologne are actually the same thing, but in different ratios of these ingredients. By the 1600s, they were trying all sorts of different things. Some things went well. Dude, pine.
Oh, I love pine.
What about orange? I call it new car smell. But once global trade opened up, our tastes became more exotic. Out of the pantry and into the petting zoo. For you see, it turns out that animals have been hoarding all of the most bestest perfume smell.
Is this going to be the ambergris? Is this the ambergris? Look, there's only one thing I know about perfume and cosmetics is that it fucking uses some disgusting stuff inside of them to smell good. So I hope this is where we're getting to the whale barf. Okay? I need to be validated. I need it.
Yes. In the olden days, a bunch of manly men would brave very rough seas in order to pull aboard sperm whales. Now, they would cut open the digestive tract and pluck out a secretion of bile called ambergris, or in English, grey amber. Sometimes they would harvest the rest of the whale, but eventually ambergris became so valuable that it was simply more economical to dump the carcass back in the ocean and collect the next batch.
Aww.
Like when you kill a racehorse for its prize-winning jizz and then just leave it there on the tracks.
No, not Amber Heard.
Quick science lesson, eggheads. Ambergris comes from the gross part of the whale. And when the whale eats something quite sharp, let's say human bones, the ambergris forms around them and protects the lining of the gut. That's the ambergris' role. That way, as the sharp thing continues down the intestines, the whale doesn't get poked. But if ambergris comes from a whale's digestive tract, what does it smell like? Surely not good. When it's dry, it smells kind of woody and earthy, but when it's wet, it smells like ass.
Okay, wait a minute. What does it mean to smell like earthy and woody? Because when I think of that, I think of just nature, but then if you drink a bottle of wine, people will say, this tastes of earthy flavor, very, very wood tasting. I was like, okay, how can you describe dried whale barf and wine in the exact same way? I don't understand. I understand it more for this than I do for wine. What I'm trying to say is that wine makes no sense. Okay, I'll just drink it and I'll be like, tastes good. Oh, can you describe it? Yeah, I like it. It tastes like alcohol in grape juice. Boom. It's wine. This is completely unrelated to this. It's just wine. But wine is good? Yeah, but I can't describe it as earthy, aged, very, very smooth. Yeah, I hope it's smooth. I don't want it to fight me.
But it's not actually the smell that's the useful function. Ambergris is a fixative. So what it does is heighten and bring out the scent of other things. These flowers, they smell all right, but add some ambergris and, that's the one. Now, once they figured this out, they realized, there's a whole bunch of things we can use a fixative for. And they got quite gross with it. They added it to food.
Just a touch.
In fact, it was said that King Charles's favorite...
Wait, can't you just use salt? Like, isn't salt the same thing? Like, oh man, the taste isn't coming out of this. Add salt. Just whenever you're listening to one of those cooking shows and they're like, the taste isn't really, the flavor really isn't coming out. You really didn't, the acidity isn't really making the food taste pop out. It's very, the texture is good, but the taste isn't really coming into my taste buds. Yeah, just add salt. That's basically what you do. Just use some salt. Unless you didn't use any, if you didn't use any other spices, well then yeah, that's your problem. But also salt can help get those tastes out, if I'm not wrong.
Favorite dish was ambergris on eggs.
Ew.
They didn't stop there. They added it to rum. They added it to coffee. They added it to cigarettes.
Ew.
Smoked it. And they used it as an aphrodisiac.
Oh no.
Now, some people will say that the whale is a mammal. But that's not strictly true. It is in fact a fish. Just look at the tail. And you may have also heard that there are a lot fewer of them these days. Which, although a relief because their absence helps offset the sea level change, climate, whatever, we were worried that we might run out. So we said no more hunting whales for ambergris. But did that stop the perfumers? No. They immediately asked, hey, do you think there are any other animals that smell kind of weird? Yes. Turns out the musk deer has some potential. Now,
Oh
it
no,
hunts
it's
the
Elon.
male musk deer specifically because it has a particular gland called a musk pod, which, when dried out, looks like this.
Oh.
And it uses it to mark its territory and attract mates. Now, don't worry.
Is it a vampire?
Ambergris, this doesn't smell like ass. Instead, it smells like ammonia and piss.
Oh.
And you just can't get a smell like that at home. So we started hunting them to the point where they were a protected species.
Classic humans.
So the authorities said, you have to find a different animal. So from there, they moved on to hyrax feces. One of the most feared and dangerous animals in all of Africa. And it was the inspiration for the original Lynx Africa smell.
What?
Now, their feces, when dried, is called hyraceum, or Africa stone.
That's a lot of shit.
But it's not just these ones, they have other stones in Africa. Come on, guys. Now, the smell is fairly similar to deer musk, but unlike the deer, the hyrax doesn't need to be killed or disturbed for their feces. They're just giving it away.
Nice.
In fact, hyrax even have a communal toilet, which is used for generations, which makes it very easy to collect up all the good stuff. But it's
So we're just their janitors. Like literally, it's like, oh, dude, what are these weird hairless like monkeys coming over here? Like they're just coming over here, like the weird primates that don't have any fur. It's like are they sick? What's going on here? Then they just show up in their clothing, and then they just scrape it off. Like, oh, nice, they're cleaning up. They're cleaning up our feces, dude. That's real nice of them. Thanks, dude. Now we don't have to worry about it piling up. Also, fun fact. Like I mentioned, the hairless thing, to us, I mean, to animals, we as humans look very sickly. Because when you look at a mammal, most of the time you think like they have fur. But then you look at a human, and we don't have that much, but we do have some hair. So like to an animal and a predator, they're like, is that thing sick? Like, why is it only have patches of hair? I'm not going to eat that unless I really have to. Because I don't want to catch whatever the hell is going on with that human. Because it looks like it has mange. We don't look very appetizing. We also taste horribly because of our diets. At least in America.
It's not just the hyrax, I've got other animals. Remember those civets from the virus videos?
I do.
Wait, don't wash that thing's anus. Mom, get the bottle. Turns out it's the anal gland of the civet that's actually the important smelling bit. Who's figuring this out?
That's what I'm wondering.
The good parts of the animal. It's the bacon part of the pig, you know? Anyway, it's the ass that produces all the delicious musk.
Ew.
It smells like shit.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Right, but it must be good for something because it goes for $4,000 a kilo. But we ain't done yet. You know when you've just killed a beaver and you cut open its ripe abdomen?
No.
Well, the reason it smells so good is because of a little gland called the castor sac, which makes a yellowy scum-like substance called castoreum. And it is used to waterproof the beaver's fur coat and also mark its territory.
Ooh.
It is also very fragrant. And you know what that means. If it smells, it sells. And in this case, castoreum is more kind of leathery, with smoky hints of vanilla. But unfortunately today, you're not allowed to harvest the beaver. They're walking around very smugly, just like the other protected animals. But you know what? We don't need them, because we have a synthetic version of castoreum now, and it's just as good. And you know what? We've got a synthetic for the whale, the deer,
Ruby.
and the civet now. And they're used in lots of mainstream perfumes. Modern day, we've got a synthetic version.
Oh, was that beaver footage from Red Dead? I thought that was real. I thought that was a sped up footage of a guy gutting a beaver. Oh, that was from Red Dead. Oh, well, at least, that's how you know the graphics are really good in that game. I thought it was real. Although it was very quick. I bet if it lingered on it, I would have identified that it was fake.
Version of practically everything. And even better, the advancement of synthetics has opened up a huge range of smells that were never possible to distill or capture before. And the result is some very silly perfumes. You know that bacon bit of the pig? We got that now.
All right. Whoever made this graphic design for this perfume deserves a raise. That's really good. That is really, really good. It simultaneously looks like a curvy woman and bacon. A+. A fucking plus. Wow.
Windex smelling, pretty much anything you can think of, really. Someone has created a...
Oh, I wasn't gonna pause on this, but what? And this is sold. Is that Japanese yen? Why are there people in Japan that want to smell like a flame-grilled Whopper? This sounds like something that would be sold in America, not in Japan. Now, if this was KFC, I would totally believe it because KFC is huge in Japan. But it's Burger King? This seems like an American thing to me.
Fragrance of it. In some instances, we're even beating nature herself. For example, you know those roses that you get at the florist? And then people go, these smell beautiful. But actually, those roses are not bred to smell good. They're so specialized for good looks, longevity, and disease resistance that they've practically altogether lost their smell.
Aww.
So often what the florist will do is add an additional scent to the flower post-picking. And typically a synthetic rose perfume is used because it lasts longer and doesn't dry out the flower. Yep, we're just that good. And what's the future for perfumes? Well, I don't know. But what I do know is it's going to involve some comedy gold. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, my wife asked me for Chanel No. 5, and I was like, not right now. I'm watching the football.
I don't understand.
You know, on the television.
Oh, channel number 5. Fuck you.
Gonna say it. If it's good enough for Kramer, it's good enough for me. Ad time. This Christmas.
What? I don't understand the reference. What did Kramer do? What did Kramer do? I feel this is my theory before anyone says it. Did Kramer ever say the N-word on stage? Because it seemed like he was about to say it, and that was the joke. And then he said ad time instead. What did Kramer do that everyone was freaking out of the audience for? I'm out of the loop.
Christmas.
And no, we're not skipping the ad. They're funny.
Busy professional. My career, this and that.
But she's going home for Christmas.
Small towns are the worst. I'm a big city career gal.
Uh-oh.
Oh my god, are you okay?
I am now. And she's about to learn the meaning of Nordmas. The most VPNist time of year with a 30-day money-back guarantee if you go to NordVPN.com/internethistorian. Ha 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 ha.
Is that Doug Dimmadome?
Have installed public Wi-Fi in all of Nordville, and once they use it, their private data will be exposed. Governor Craven's got this town by the baubles.
You can tell this was meant to be released during the holiday.
And I can't believe that big city company you work for works with him.
Come on, we have to put up the Nordmas lights for the big Nordmas festival.
What?
What?
Let's go ice skating. What?
He's so cute, but I'm a city girl.
Girl, you sound like you're in love.
I thought I knew what Nordmas meant, but it means nothing without you.
It's like the end of March.
It's always Nordmas time of year with Nord's huge
Oh, no, I guess it was meant for now.
Use the URL. NordVPN.com/internetstory for a 30-day money-back guarantee is the best VPN in town.
Now I love small
Either
town,
that or was a
and
very
I'm in
quick
love
edit.
with Nordman, but I can't leave behind big city Korea.
True love and a really good VPN don't come around too much. You gotta take a chance.
Boss, I don't care about making partner at the firm anymore. I've found my new home.
Big public Wi-Fi is spreading across the city. Nordmas will be ruined.
Ho, ho, ho. Need a hand?
How are we gonna stop him, Nordman?
With this Nord-themed brick.
I love you, Nordman.
And I love you, big city woman. Let's go home and watch the international Netflix catalog.
It's a Nordmas miracle!
Go to NordVPN.com/internethistorian to get a huge deal on a 2-year plan plus 4 bonus Nordmas months. Ad's over. You know, that ad makes me think about the
City
time
woman,
I
trademark.
nearly had a wife. Feels like a lifetime ago now.
He's actually married, though, in real
I
life.
was in Japan, living the digital nomad lifestyle. I had a startup selling seashells down by the seashore. But I broke the one rule of being a digital nomad. I got mad. Digitally. And that's when I saw her. It was love at first sight. I remember her laugh. Her touch. Every morning, breakfast in bed. But the truth was, I had no money. We couldn't live on love alone. So I left. I sought out to make my fortune. I tried so many things.
That guy's an asshole, by the way. Like, he's rich. That guy is an asshole. I don't even know his name. But this guy, everything I have seen about him. And yes, I did notice the nomad joke. I got it. Nomad. But this guy's an asshole. Yes, he is a prime asshole. Very rich, complete asshole. I think you can even pay him money online for him to read something to you. I don't know what those are called. But yeah, screw this guy. Screw this guy. I don't even know his name. Fuck him.
I think this sucks. I'm out.
And I bet you're wondering how I finally struck it rich. Well, truth is, I'm the guy who invented the Joe Rogan podcast.
You son of a bitch.
Once I became a gajillionaire, I went back to that beach to try and find her. But instead, I hit her with my boat.
Ooh.
We never found her body. But she had a secret. One she took to her grave that I was sworn not to tell. She's not around, so... Dude, she was a mermaid!
I should have known. The fact that she was in the water all the time, of course she's gonna be a mermaid. Of course she's gonna be a mermaid. Also, why does this look like the avatar has fetal alcohol syndrome? Like, the far apart eyes, the giant forehead, the gaze, just... this screams fetal alcohol syndrome to me.
Come on, champ, we're going to Japan. And here's where it all begins. In the year 2022. It's a Tuesday, probably. And local folklore researcher Hiroshi Kinoshita is looking up some fantastical animals.
That's just D&D.
In the National Yokai Dictionary. It's like the bestiary from Witcher, right? And he comes across a photo negative of a mermaid mummy. Oh my god, he says in Japanese. Upon seeing the mermaid, he knows that he must track it down. He must form a team. Researchers, assemble. So he gets together the best damn crew that he can from the University of Science and Arts at the Okayama Prefecture.
Oh my god, don't. Stop it. Stop it.
And he plans to track down the mermaid mummy, wherever it has escaped to. Now, it doesn't take him long to figure out that it's being held at the Inuin Temple in Asakuchi. You know the one. So he struts up to the sacred building. And there at the back of the temple is a fireproof safe. And inside of that is an old wooden box. And inside the old wooden box was the mermaid.
So was this thing lost? He tracked it down pretty easily. Did we gloss over some stuff, or he just decided, you know what, we gotta go check out that mummy, or did he do research to figure out where the fuck it was? I'm very confused. But I'm guessing that's not going to be the point of it. But how do you think that mummy tastes? Do you think it tastes like aged beef jerky? I think it would probably taste pretty good. You know what? I bet if you ground that up and you put it inside of some perfume, I bet it would smell awesome. I bet it would smell awesome, chat, from everything that we've heard so far.
We found it. We found a real one.
That's a monkey.
But where did it come from? Well,
that is a baby monkey.
The mermaid was a note that dated back from 1903, and it said, a dried human fish, aka Ningyo, was caught almost 300 years ago over in the seas of Tosa. It was then dried out and taken to Osaka. And from there, it was passed around to many different people until it arrived at the temple. Now, the Ningyo have an important history in Japan, and sightings of these half-fish, half-human creatures have cropped up all across the country. Kinoshita himself had personally tracked down 13 of them, all across Japan, usually kept in museums and temples.
Wasn't there one that was famous, or not famous? It was famous on the internet, but it just turned out they took like a monkey skeleton and a fish skeleton and then glued it together. And then boom, he made a mermaid. Like, mermaids aren't real. It doesn't make sense evolutionarily. Like, there's no... I can't think of any possibility that would make sense for an evolutionary adaptation for it to be like a human within a fishtail like that. I don't think evolution would have us maintain half of our body being human-like, while also the bottom half becoming a mermaid tail or a fish tail. That doesn't compute. That does not compute. We would also need to have some common ancestry of primates that were heavily into being in the water. And if I'm not mistaken, aren't humans the only primates that know how to swim? Like, I know, like, gorillas can't swim, because I got that on a trivia question once. So, unless they're just evolutionary connected to humans, I can't think of a way that a mermaid would ever become real. Because I don't think any other primates can swim. Yeah, not normally. Only way I could see this happening is some genetic engineering. Yeah, it would have to be human made nowadays, because I can't think of how nature would have ever let this happen. It makes no sense. I would say that it tastes like a cooked hot dog over a campfire. No. No. So the Little Mermaid is fake? Yeah, I'm sorry to break this to you. I'm sorry to say, but yep, the Little Mermaid actually woke propaganda. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I didn't see the movie, so honestly, I can't say, but I just don't like the Disney live action remakes. I don't care about the woke or the non-woke bullshit that people talk about on the internet. It's just a bad movie that misses the soul of the original one. There's a whole deep dive on why it is. I won't go into it, but so many of the Disney remakes are just bad. Yeah, the original is great. But the original one is also fake, I'm sorry to say.
However, what you might not know is that traditionally they have been associated with bad omens. Aye. And everyone knows the infamous tale of Yao Bikuni.
No.
But I'll recite it to you just in case.
Oh, thank you.
So the story is that one day, a poor fisherman catches the biggest fish of his life. It was a strange-looking fish, and its head was almost human-like.
He better not fuck that
But
fish.
he brought the fish home and invited all of his friends and family to come over for a feast to celebrate his largest catch. You know, he's got his arms stretched out like this. He's like, it was this big. No, it was this big. I swear, it was this big. During dinner, one of the guests sneaks into the kitchen to see just how big it was. This big? I can't believe it. And he discovers that it is actually a ningyo. Oh no, he says in perfect Japanese. Now he quickly warns the other guests, don't eat it. And he warns them just in time. Teishi. They've got their fork like right up to their mouth.
Chopstick? Wait, did they use chopsticks in Japan? Or was that Chinese?
They throw all their food away. Let's just have some rice and drink the night away. Okay, so they do. And they have a lovely evening. However, one very dishonorable guest decided to sneak a bit of the meat out of the trash and put it in his pocket. He then goes home drunk and falls asleep. He didn't eat it. But when he woke up the next morning, he checks his pockets and... no! The delicious fish piece is gone. Turns out, in the night, his daughter had been rummaging around in his pockets looking for treasure, and she found the meat from his pocket.
Ew.
And she was such a greedy guts that she decided to eat it.
Ew.
There. The father was terrified for his daughter, but she didn't seem to be sick. Do you feel weird at all? And shaking her. He decided not to tell her anything. Maybe it'll all be okay. However, from that day forward, the daughter never aged. That's right. She remained a young adult forever.
Oh no.
She eventually went on to marry. But as her husband got older, she stayed the same age.
That's a W for the husband right there. Am I right, guys? Am I right, guys? Classic W for us guys. Sorry to be gross.
Eventually, her father got old and died. And soon enough, did her husband too. Everyone she ever knew was getting older and dying, but she remained the same age. She was immortal. Eventually,
hey, now that's a W for her, because now all she has to do is make a nice diversified stock portfolio, put her money into it, and then just wait for a long time, and she's gonna be a bajillionaire. Look, then she takes some of that money and then she makes her own startup. She creates her own tech company. She buys out some of the other stuff, and she could be one of the richest people in the world right now if she did that. But I bet she didn't, because they didn't have the S&P 500 in ancient Japan.
at age 120, she decided to shave her head and become a Japanese nun. She traveled the country planting trees as she went, and she did this for 800 years. But eventually, she grew tired. You know what? I'm tired of living. She entered a cave in her hometown of Obama. And she was determined to never come out again. She begged and prayed for the curse to end, but it never did. She sat in that cave for so long that she turned to stone.
Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah, that's how it works.
At the Kuinji Temple in Obama remains the cave that Yao Bakuni entered. People have been into that cave to check whether she's still in there, but nothing was found. However, a stone statue of her resides at the entrance. And colloquially, it is called the Barack Obama. So we're back with...
All right, very funny. I'm assuming the place is actually called Obama. Chat, what if she shaved her head? She got plastic surgery when that became a thing, and then she became Barack Obama. Huh? Look, we've all heard the conspiracy theories that he's from, what is it, Kenya? That he doesn't have a U.S. birth certificate? Nobody ever thought that maybe he's from Japan and was actually a woman that then got plastic surgery who's been alive for thousands of years. No, or not thousands? Yeah, hundreds of years. Nobody ever thought of that. It was staring them right in the face, but they couldn't figure it out. Fucking idiots. Idiots can't see the truth right in front of them. That Barack Obama is an immortal Japanese woman from ancient Japan who was cursed by a mermaid. It's so obvious, I can't believe no one's seen it until now. Yeah, he swam from Japan to Hawaii to, so we wouldn't figure it out. Look, it's the perfect crime, chat. It is the perfect crime. We need answers on this. We need answers.
Hiroshi. He asked the Inuan temple if he could borrow the Nino. Look, let me do a little CT scan on it, right? And they agreed. Hiroshi hands the Nino to a team of scientists, and they get to work. They do their tests. Beep, beep, boop. Control plus scan on the keyboard, and here are the results.
What's it gonna be?
Stage 4 cancer. Sorry.
Oh no.
No, but really, turns out the Nino dates back to the 1800s. The note that said it was from the 1700s was wrong. Its body is made from cloth and cotton, wrapped in pufferfish skin. The tail was made from a croaker. I don't know what that is. Can we show that on the screen? With the mouth of a different fish and the hair of a mammal. And they can see that there's a metal nail in its back. Oh my god, it's invented tools. The forensic analysis and the construction materials in its back did cast some doubt over its authenticity. But you gotta believe in something, damn it. As promised, the Nino was returned to the Inuan temple, where it still lives today.
Why? Why? It's obviously fake. Come on, why do they do this? This is just silly, guys. It's just silly. It's like that alien that was dissected in Mexico, and it was literally just made of cotton, and they invited a bunch of scientists around the world to do the dissection, and they filmed it, and all the scientists were super excited. And then they're doing the dissection, and it's obvious to everyone that it's literally just pulling out cotton and paper mache They're acting like, oh, we're gonna wait for a DNA result or a genetics test and everything. Like you're literally genetically testing paper mache and cotton balls. This is obviously fake. No, not the alien from the yard that looked like a potato. A different one. Like there's been a lot of these.
But where, oh where, did my mermaid go?
You hit her with a boat.
It's her. You're back. You know what? I kind of missed you. And what the hell is that?
Daddy.
Oh no.
You know what? I never did find her again. I think these things are a big myth.
Fair. Yep. Yu-Gi-Oh!
We're here on the ancient streets of Cairo, and there is our destination.
Is this gonna be
These
aliens?
Triangles, the greatest luxury that all the elites crave. Oh God, no, not that. The second most thing that mummies. You can find them in these tombs, and there's only ever like one dude guarding them.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
But before we must understand. Mummification started over 5,000 years ago.
Chat, do you think he's going to talk about how people in like not in medieval in like the 1800s in Britain would have mummy unboxing parties and they would eat the mummy? That is real. Look it up. That when the British were going on their bender of literally taking every single thing of importance culturally from everywhere. When they got mummies, some rich guys would buy the mummy, have a party where they would then unwrap it, and then they would eat it. That is not a joke. So it is that's real. That is real. Look it up. Look it up. There is also, it is my theory, you know how everyone says that, oh, it's the curse of the mummy. It's like, oh, the people that excavated it, they all died. Yeah, you opened up an ancient tomb with a bunch of diseases in it. Yeah, you died because you unearthed diseases that killed you. That's my canon. It's like, oh, it's a curse. No, you inhaled an ancient virus or an ancient bacteria that didn't last very long or something. Like, they just died from natural causes caused from their excavations. That's my theory. It's probably not true, but it's my theory, and I will die on this hill.
And they were first discovered by the Europeans in the 15th century.
Still better than British
the
food.
Legend goes, the locals knew about them even earlier than that. It's an elaborate process, but essentially, you're drying the person out, turning them into a human salami. Alright, so when the Europeans found all these mummies, what do you think they did?
Eat them.
Put it in a museum, right? Wrong. They used these mothers for everything, and everybody wanted them. What do you mean they used them for everything? Well, fancy people would take whole mummies and show them off to their friends at fancy dinners. To really show off the owner's wealth, they would sometimes unwrap them too. They were used as paint. They call this mummy brown, by the way. They were used as fertilizer.
Oh man, talk about supercharging your soil.
They were even consumed.
I told you.
No, not
I fucking told you. I told you.
like this. By grinding them up into powder and taking them like a herbal supplement, which they called mumia.
Told you.
But with such high demand,
I fucking told you.
After a while, they began to run out of stock.
Well, yeah.
Uh-oh. They were becoming rarer and rarer to find. They were being gobbled off the face of the earth. So the authorities passed a bunch of laws to protect mummies from becoming altogether extinct. These are the
I just find that hilarious. You're oh no, we're running out of mummies. Why? Because like there's so few of them, and it's hard to preserve. No, we just kept eating them.
the last two of their species, and they're both male, but they won't mate. No. But the mummy is much like the Tasmanian tiger. Every once in a while, one will just kinda show up and prove that they're not altogether extinct.
Open the door.
The year
the
2013. The location, Diefels in northwest Germany.
Huh?
We are at the Kettler household, owned by grandfather Kettler, who is now dead. But he had a son, Lutz Kettler, and Lutz Kettler also had a son, Alexander Kettler. and they are both there at the house. After a rainy day, there was a leak in the roof. So 10-year-old Kettler gets up into the attic to explore. You know, have a bit of a look around. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. Old antiques.
Oh, yeah.
Photographs. And
is that a Thunderbird? Go back.
Old
go back.
antiques. Photographs.
Is that supposed to be a photograph of a Thunderbird? Is a Thunderbird native, I say, like folklore-wise? Is that native to Australia? Or is that a Native American thing? I can't remember. Is it? Look at this photo. Or is it both? Because I know that I think there was an ancient bird in Australia that was huge and it could have picked up people. Oh, it's Native American? Okay. I knew it was one of the two. I think there's another bird I'm thinking of in Australia. But yeah, okay, so it's Native American. It's a Native American folklore. Okay.
And, some old roof tiles. Those will be useful. So he goes over to the roof tiles and, behind them is something strange. A box. A mystery box. Now, the kid is smart and he's seen Jumanji, so he knows not to touch the box.
Smart man.
Go tell his dad. Now, the dad drags the box into the center of the room. And he opens it. And inside, a smaller box. But it's very curious because it is covered in hieroglyphs. So, Lutz crosses his fingers, hoping nothing supernatural will happen.
Oh, please tell me he's Yugi Moto when he gets the power of the Millennium Puzzle.
And he opens the inner box. Inside is a mummy. Oh my god. But there's more. There's also two smaller boxes. One contained a death mask, and the other a canopic jar.
Ooh.
Alright, so he might have a dead body in there.
That's a good loot box.
So naturally, he calls the authorities. The police show up and ask some questions. Lutz then explains a little bit of backstory. He remembers that in the 1950s, his father went to Derna in Libya. There, he acquired a chest and had it shipped back home. He remembers a conversation about it, but grandfather Kettler insisted that it was a replica. Das ist ein Replica, son. Not a real mummified person. Now, at this point, the police did not think it was a real body, but it was worth...
I wouldn't either, chat. If I saw that, I'd say, oh, this is a pretty good fake. I mean, it looks so fake. Like, oh yeah, we just gotta put a bunch of hieroglyphs on this thing, put it in a nice little box and everything. Like, it looks like something that you would buy that is intentionally fake.
Getting it scanned just in case. So he loaded it up in his station wagon, and off he went to the Berlin Archaeological Institute.
Yeah, just lick it, taste it.
And so they're fiddling with buttons and dials and stuff, and it's fake, right? It's fake? Well, here's where things get a little more dramatic.
It's alive!
Inconclusive. There is a fully formed skeleton here. Now, that is unusual for a fake. Often a fake will just be shaped like a person, then filled with sticks and cloth and rubbish.
Yeah.
However, it got even stranger. They found that all of the bones were wrapped in some sort of metal plating or foil. Next, they looked at the skull, and that's where things were the most odd. It was very realistic. Its teeth had roots. Its form was more intricate than the typical fake. It also had a laurel, but even more notably, there was an arrowhead lodged in the eye socket. Now that is very unusual for a fake. Hold on, I got more evidence to do. So they're doing more tests and stuff. All right, we've carbon tested the linen wraps. What's the verdict? Well, those are from the 1900s. Now the plot is thickening. We have a supposed fake mummy, but with a very realistic skull, perhaps murdered by an arrow to the head and bandages that date to the modern day. That presents a new problem, because it's not unheard of for people to do a murder in the modern day and then cover things up by disguising the body as an ancient artifact. For example, in the year 2000, there was a man who claimed he found the mummy of an ancient Persian princess, the daughter of Xerxes. However, when they examined the body, they found it was, in fact, a potential murder victim from 1996 who died from bludgeoning. All right.
That's a lot of work to cover up a murder. Can you not just, like, chop them up and then throw them into a lake? That's a lot of work right there. You could literally just throw it into a place that no one would ever find it. And also then it would biodegrade and would get eaten. Like, why is that so hard? Like, really? Yeah, burn the body, hydrochloric acid, dig a hole. Come on.
So the police now actually have to get involved, and it's about to get even more complicated. So they confiscate the body and they do their own tests, and the results this time say, nope, this thing is 2,000 years old. It's not fake at all. It's ancient. What? So eventually the experts all get together and go, okay, this is dumb. Let's take it to Eppendorf University and have it properly tested, and not just tested, crack the thing open like a delicious Kinder Surprise. So this new set of experts gets to work, and when they open up the mummy... Alright, remember how we said that the bones were covered in a special type of foil or metal plating? Well, it turns out the scientists didn't quite get that right. Instead, the bones were sprayed with a metallic chemical that prevented X-rays from going through.
What?
The bones were made from plastic.
What the fuck?
Or at least, the body was.
Huh?
Turns out, the skull is real.
What?
Yes, a real skull, and not from an ancient mummy, but from a 20th century man. However, it was not a murder. This skull is from a cadaver, and it was medically prepared for educational purposes. And what about that arrowhead? Well, it turns out that that's from a children's toy. Someone just popped that in the eye socket.
Why?
As a joke. So finally, the mystery was solved.
Someone made the biggest troll they could think of, and they probably never even got to see the fruits of their labor. They're like, man, I'm not going to get to see the results of this, but this is going to really fuck with somebody in a couple of years. Or whenever this was. It's like, this is going to screw somebody up. Wow. Wow.
It's just a plastic skeleton with a real dead guy's head put on it. Wait, how does that solve the mystery? Anyway, so Lutz was satisfied that the whole thing was fake and not a murder victim. Oh, let's put that back in the attic, he said very Germanly. But then, eine Bitte? Was ist das? He says. Another box? The Book of the Dead? Well, that sounds like a fun read. So Lutz starts reading the ancient Egyptian out loud. Anaxunamun, Imhotep, Brendan Fraser. And what happened next will shock you.
Oh,
and make
Jesus.
for a very
Fuck
good
you.
thumbnail.
Fuck you.
Hey there, champ. You're probably wondering why I'm out here on this park bench.
Nah, not really.
Sometimes I just come to see the autumn leaves. Winter will be here soon. Dust in the wind.
Ah, my eyes.
Truth is, sport, I have a highly contagious respiratory disease. I won't be around much longer. Dust in the wind.
Ah, my eyes.
I'm like Willy Wonka from that movie. And you're like that ugly kid from the Willy Wonka movie who gets all his stuff. Although
I don't think he's that ugly. I don't think he's attractive either. I want to preface. I want to make this very clear. I don't think he's attractive. I don't think he's ugly though. Okay, I don't find kids attractive. But that does not seem like an ugly guy. Okay? Seems like he's just a kid going through the awkward years of puberty or something where his face doesn't quite make a right shape. You know? We all have those awkward years. All right? You know, there are ugly kids, there are ugly babies, there are ugly people out there like that, but they're not ugly, I don't think, okay? Maybe, we all have those times. Even I had them. I had them.
I haven't seen it. The point is you're so close to being fancy. I can feel it. There's just one lesson left to learn. Anyway, speaking of ancient Egypt, here's this ancient Egyptian gun. Franz Ferdinand,
huh?
What are you doing here?
Don't do it.
He's not the real Franz Ferdinand. He's a mummy. Now, the thing about the ancient Egyptian gun is that it's very sensitive.
Ooh.
Uh-oh. I hit your congratulations for being somewhat fancy cake.
No!
Come on, Mr. Ferdinand. We've got to clean this up before the Park Services Commission hears about this, and they make another complaint. Right, we're almost done with the series, and then it's back to the usual content.
Really?
So in case you missed it, there's also Drinking on Incognito, a new story mode out next week. And if you like fancy, that's great. But if you don't like fancy, don't worry, it's not forever. Ooh, goodbye. Ooh. Don't forget NordVPN, nordvpn.com/internetastory. Huge deal on a 2-year plan, you'll love it.
And
Brought
then
to you by
he doesn't give a date this time. He did not give a date on when the next video is coming out because he doesn't know when that's going to happen. So good for him. But this was a good video. It was a good video. You know, I remember people on the internet saying like, "Oh, dude, wow, H Bomber guy, he got this guy so good that he's just gone from the internet. He's gone forever." I was like, nah, that probably isn't gonna happen. It's really hard to cancel people. People don't care. People do not care about like one-time plagiarization or anything. They do not care. It is not going to impact him at all. He was just taking a long time. Like, people overestimate, like, oh my god, this guy got canceled. Literally, all he has to do is ignore it and nothing will happen. And that's what he did. And it worked. So, yeah. But thank you for watching, YouTube. If you're interested, leave a comment of any other suggestions down below. Maybe come by the Discord or come by the live stream. But until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day, YouTube. Bye-bye.